Okay, this video's gonna be interesting because I'm not really fully sure how to feel about this movie. So, Gravestone Filmz Black Christmas just came out 3 hours ago. I fully watched it after spending like 2 hours watching it. It's just, and I'm not really sure how to feel about it. Basically, it's about these kids from this fraternity called Sigma Alpha Epsilon. They're coming down for Christmas break. I'm just gonna read the plot. The kids of Sigma Alpha Epsilon are coming down for Christmas break. Suddenly, a man calls the fraternity house with obscene phone calls and threatens to kill them all on the night of Christmas Eve. He'll keep his promise and murder each of the boys one by one. And so, yeah, this is about these boys. It's kind of like the first one that there's these people at this fraternity, and sorry if you can hear the background noise. It's probably not that loud actually, considering like how it sounds. Whatever. The point is, it's these kids, and then it's a lot like the original, with the phone calls, the creepy phone calls, and they sort of get killed off one by one. Then there's the sheriff outside. Um, so I want to start with the positives because this is an interesting movie. The positives is that there's some cool shots. I have to admit, the opening sequence is pretty good. I'm not going to lie; it's a little creepy. Made me poop my pants. Kidding. It was pretty cool. It's a one take, I believe. Sounds pretty good. And the ending is pretty cool with the music. This can be kind of spoiler heavy, pretty spoiler heavy. So, sorry. Um, Basically the ending where one of my character's dad is dead with his bag, and then it just zooms out, and then boom, and you got the end credits. It's a lot like the original, and I like that. Well, at least for that. And then just the songs are pretty cool. Like when it's playing when the dude's dead, it's pretty creepy. And it's pretty entertaining. Sometimes it picks up on the second act. Well, not the second act, like halfway, but it's entertaining at times. The characters can be likable, and there's some good music. And when this officer's like, "Oh, do you need me to arrest you?" and then he just gets grabbed by the killer and like dragged, it's like kind of, it just kind of, it's like, oh shoot, okay, this dude's pretty aggressive. Like this, it's pretty cool. And it was just entertaining. It was kind of funny. And it was decently. There's like the point. I guess no, actually, that's not really a positive I have. It's kind of like the kill that's marrying the girl with the glass unicorn. It's actually not done super well, but I guess I can admire the effort. And I can admire the effort with this whole film. It's shot in 2 days. Same thing with our upcoming Virgo film. In fact, actually, one night, basically. It took a little bit longer, but the point is, yeah. I can admire the effort, but unfortunately, this was a pretty big disaster, unfortunately. Like, not a horrendous movie, but it's an interesting one. Like, I'll start off with the negatives. It's quite lazily shot. Unfortunately, it's just you can tell that it's rushed and filmed within 2 days. It's quite rushed in terms of shooting. There's no really interesting shots except for some few ones. And I guess there's kind of like this Dutch angle thing. It's kind of weird, but it's okay. And sometimes it's not even pointing at the main characters. It's just like really, it's kind of lazily shot. I forget what that point is. It's just, it's not very interesting. There's not any reverse shots because it's clear that they didn't have a lot of time, and I understand. I feel like this shouldn't have taken 2 days. I feel like it should have taken longer because the shots are quite lazy. There's nothing interesting, and it doesn't help the movie at all. And the acting, it's doesn't do I? Hmm. Oh my god, that's so bright. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'll be right back. Alright, change the light. But basically, the acting's not that great. Sometimes it's okay. The killer does a pretty decent job, who is played by Gravestone Filmz. Not played by Gravestone Filmz. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Jack, right? Please don't tell me I got his name wrong. Yes, it's Jackson, right? Yes. Sorry about that. But yeah, he's played the actor. at least for that part, did pretty decently. There are some okay moments of acting, but a lot of the time, you could tell they're smiling. And when that dude who got grabbed later got killed, you could see he was smiling. And sometimes, yes, smiling in scary situations okay. Like I can understand that because that's something that the body does to like calm you down, I guess. But they do it quite a bit, and a lot of times it's quite unconvincing. Apparently, this character has a list, but I didn't notice it all. Although maybe that's good because it wasn't so annoying. But the acting wasn't super duper good. It was kind of meh. Like nobody really stuck out to me. Uh, and the acting was it was kind of stale, and sometimes it was just yeah. A lot of the time it was kind of stale. It was like, um, okay, I'm gonna go over there, and yeah, a few other problems I have. The characters didn't really stick with me that much. Yeah, the characters they weren't really memorable. It didn't really stick. I don't think any of them had like arcs or like personality traits really most of the time. There's literally like th- no, that's part of the pacing, but I guess I'll get into the pacing briefly like right now. It sounds bad as Friday the 13th where there's just so many scenes of padding, but there's a scene where they make Swiss Miss, which is kind of short, but still it's like a whole minute or two. It's like kind of pointless. It's like okay, and the cop scenes apparently is it talks about exposition. That's kind of the point where I checked out. I literally skipped those parts because they were kind of boring. They weren't written in any interesting way. It was just kind of boring. Um, and I guess like the cop side plot was kind of just it was mildly interesting in the beginning while they were doing a search party, but they never showed us obviously. But then they just pulled it back. And then there's this kid who goes missing, and this is part of the pacing. It kind of feels like subplots are dropped almost like or just not really that interesting. Like the cop subplot got more uninteresting as it went on. It was just that one dude. Actually, it was a couple dudes, I guess, but they're all played. A lot of these characters are played by different, but a lot of these different characters are played by the same actors. That's what I meant. It's not necessarily bad, but the point is, these cops, one of them just kind of briefly shows up, and then he gets killed. And there's this other one, I forget who happens to him. And then there's the other cop who's like, oh, the call's coming from inside your house and all this stuff. And he does like 3 scenes of exposition, including that part where he's like that. No, actually, that's a bit after, but there's still just scenes where he's just talking over the phone and it just kind of gets old and boring. And then the whole subplot, I'm pretty sure that kid missing, he was kind of there for a little bit. Then they never talked about it again, I believe. Like, I don't know. They did talk about it sometimes, but I don't really know. There was never any resolution on that I remember. If not, then okay. It's just kind of like this cop subplot got more uninteresting, like less interesting as it went on. It was just like, okay, it's just spin exposition. Um, yeah, going back to my point on the characters, yeah, they don't really have like much of an arc or personality. Like they weren't really interesting to me. They didn't stick. I don't even remember their names actually. I don't. Um, like heck, even Wonder Woman 1984 movie that I don't like. I still remember Steve Trevor, Maxwell Lord, um Cheetah, Wonder Woman. That's what the point is. I don't remember any of their names. They're not very interesting. Um, yeah, I guess the characters just aren't really that interesting. As well as the fact that it's just not that scary. I'm sorry, it's the core that I keep pushing. It's just not that interesting. Unfortunately, it's not like boring as hell. It's just it's not super interesting. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm talking about something else. It's not very scary. The 2 parts that are kind of creepy is the ending and the beginning, but that's really it. The phone calls they're trying to be creepy. They end up just being silly, and he's just doing this. No, he's like licking and like sticking his tongue out, and he's like, it's just weird. I'm sorry about that. It just kind of goes on for a while. It's not very scary, and it's just kind of not very creepy. It's not like as disturbing and quiet and weird. It's just it doesn't work as well. Another thing is the sound mixing. I know I brought this up to dude Jackson, yeah. And he was like for that one scene where the phone call is like, oh, I guess it was intentional, but even sometimes it's like it's pretty hard to hear the characters. Um, it's pretty hard, and there's just some technical stuff. Yeah, in general, it's mostly the technical stuff along with the characters, but it's just like it's shot lazily. And I guess that subplot is dropped that I mentioned before. It's just overall, I'm sorry, this is a bit of a messy review, fortunately. Overall, I can respect the fact that they did in 2 days, and there are some good parts. The opening and the beginning are pretty good, and this does pick up between the second half, but even by that point, I kind of checked out the plot. I'm sorry, the cop It's just spinning exposition most of the time. It's not very interesting. It's not scary a lot. The phone calls are just kind of silly. A shot quite lazily, no interesting shots. The kills are cool though, I have to admit. There is that one dude who gets hit, and that his throat slit, and then the dude who gets his bag over his head. But it kind of felt like, also the ending kind of felt like it dragged a bit, like with the whole cop just talking over the phone for a little bit. Like he talks from like 57 minutes into like an hour and like 3 minutes in. It just kind of drags on. Feels like the ending was kind of dragged on. Like the dude talking is like, okay, dude, it's very clearly made just to extend this movie. It's not even like a full length feature film, so it could have just been like Host, where it's like 15 minutes long. Because honestly, this movie could have just been like 30, 40 minutes. Seriously, it could have just been like that long. Honestly felt like it. I honestly felt like it could have been shortened a lot more. Like instead of being an hour and 8 minutes, it could have been like 30 to 50 minutes at most. Because there's a whole Swiss mix thing. There's a whole like they're trying to sell money. That's just in one scene. I believe they were propaganda, or maybe not. Maybe I didn't notice. It's just because also the characters' dialogue isn't that interesting and kind of drones on, and that's again a problem with the pacing. Um, Besides those subplots and stuff, yeah, it is kind of boring. Like I said, with the ending being like dragged on, this movie feels like it really wasn't made to be any longer than 30 to 50 minutes, and it just feels like they're trying to drag it out. Thankfully, it's not 80 minutes long, like the length of a full length feature film. Otherwise, it'd be just way more boring. It's just overall, it's a pretty bad movie, kind of awful. But I can respect the fact that it took 2 days. Like they had to do it within 2 days, or they did it within 2 days. The opening and beginning are pretty cool. It does pick up in the second half. And there's some cool kills, okay acting, but the characters aren't really memorable. It's lazily shot. The pacing's kind of weird all over the place, especially the first 30 minutes there are. That's where most of the boring stuff happens. And still the ending with like that cop dude, it just kind of drags it out a bit more. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I could redo this review, make it more concise. And yeah, the movie's just kind of boring, lazily shot, not as scary as I was hoping. The phone calls just aren't really as good or creepy as like the original. I didn't even see the original, but I've seen bits of it. I've seen the kill cam, I've seen some clips. They seem a lot more creepy and like weird and like, oh, okay. And this is just kind of like, okay, it's kind of sounds like an autistic, deranged person instead of like a deranged, like creepy dude that'll really hurt you. It's just like, okay, stay away from that dude. Not like, oh shoot, he's gonna kill us. Oh my god. Overall, I'm gonna give Black Christmas 2021, I guess, our official Gravestone film production, a D plus. I guess I don't know if there's gonna be a rating. I don't know, but point is, yeah, I'm sorry if you guys don't like these type of videos. Let me know actually in the comments if you like these type of videos where I'm just straight talking to the camera. If you guys want me to bring back those unknown film reviews, I'm thinking about doing. Shoot, I'm not sure actually, but there's I believe a movie free on YouTube. There's a lot of free on YouTube movies, so I could do those. As well as some car accounts and stuff. I know. Um, if this isn't your type of content, yeah, I totally understand. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.